Have you ever noticed how sometimes what they tell us isn't the full story? Kendrick Lamar's show was abruptly cancelled at the last minute. And while the official statement blamed logistical difficulties, there's a much bigger and more troubling truth underneath it all. This isn't just about one cancelled concert. This is about a coordinated effort in the music industry to drag down the man many consider the true king of rap. And if you've been paying attention to how the media has been framing Kendrick recently, you'll see exactly how dangerous this is. So stay locked in, because by the end of this video you'll know why Kendrick's cancellation isn't just an accident. It's part of a larger plan to discredit him and chip away at his dominance. But first, I want you to support me by liking this video and subscribing to this channel. I would really appreciate it. Let's start with what happened right before the chaos. Kendrick Lamar had just played for a roaring crowd of 65,000 fans in Mexico, delivering one of the most powerful, unforgettable solo performances of his career. That show wasn't just another stop on the grand national tour. It was history in motion. Fans described the atmosphere as electric, like the stadium itself was shaking. Visuals, pyrotechnics, dancers, moving stage pieces. The kind of show no other rapper in history is pulling off right now. For many, it felt like a defining moment. Kendrick wasn't just performing music. He was creating an experience that blurred the line between rap, theater, and cultural ritual. It was proof that the third leg of the tour was starting with unmatched momentum. But then came Colombia, the second show, the one scheduled for September 27th. And just 1 hour before the performance, everything collapsed. The official explanation? Logistical difficulties. The promoter and venue couldn't handle it. But here's where things get strange. Almost immediately, false stories began circulating online. Instead of focusing on the official statement, blogs and social media accounts began pushing a different story. Claims that Kendrick couldn't sell tickets. Screenshots of seating charts with empty patches were thrown around. Drake fans in particular went on overdrive, posting evidence that the tour was flopping. But let's pause for a second and think logically. This was a stadium that could hold 80,000 people. Even if Kendrick only sold 70,000, that's still an enormous, record-breaking event. No promoter in their right mind cancels a show that size just because it wasn't 100% sold out. Especially when Kendrick has been selling out arenas and stadiums across the globe with consistency. So why push the narrative of failure? Why were certain outlets quick to frame Kendrick as if his dominance was suddenly crumbling? Because if there's one thing the industry hates, it's an artist who refuses to play by their rules. Kendrick isn't chasing numbers with gimmicks. He's not manufacturing clout or buying streams. He's telling stories, building art, and staying authentic. And that terrifies people who depend on control and manipulation. Here's another thing to consider. Kendrick Lamar doesn't cancel shows lightly. Look at his track record. From the Mr. Morale era to the GNX era, every tour has been meticulously designed and delivered, often with packed houses. The rare exceptions, like Houston where he hit 96% capacity, are still overwhelming successes compared to anyone else. And let's not forget, Kendrick isn't Drake. He's not doing this to inflate his ego or prove that he's bigger than everyone else. Kendrick is about message first, art first, storytelling first. Whether there are 5 fans or 50,000, his dedication doesn't change. So why would he suddenly bail on Colombia? The answer: he didn't. He was ready. His team was ready. The show wasn't canceled because of him. It was because of something far bigger. Now let's peel back the curtain on the live music industry. Touring at Kendrick's level is a logistical nightmare. Not because fans don't show up, but because the shows themselves are enormous machines. We're talking about stages with moving parts, massive props like dice and cars, pyrotechnics, risers that lift artists into the air, and entire sections of flooring that open up mid-show. This isn't a simple microphone and speaker setup. Every detail is planned down to the millisecond. And when you're in places where the venues aren't used to hosting events of that magnitude, things get tricky. Colombia was one of those places. On paper, the stadium looked viable. But when Kendrick's team arrived and started setting up, it became clear. The venue simply couldn't handle the complexity of the Grand National Tour. The middle stage door wouldn't function properly. The rigging wasn't stable. Safety became an issue. So what do you do when your entire show is built on precision, effects, and storytelling? You don't risk it. You can't just wing it with a bare stage. Kendrick isn't going to cheat fans with half an experience. And Kendrick isn't alone in this struggle. Last summer, Childish Gambino had to cancel a tour stop for the exact same reason. His stage design was too advanced for a venue that wasn't structurally prepared. Think about that. Two of the most creative, forward-thinking artists of this generation, both being forced to shut down shows. Not because of poor ticket sales or personal drama, but because their ambition outgrew the venues. So when people say, why not just perform without the effects? They're missing the point. For artists like Kendrick and Gambino, these aren't concerts. They're carefully designed experiences. Strip away the visuals, the transitions, the props, and you destroy the vision. Would you rather Kendrick cut corners and give fans a half-finished show? Or maintain his standard of excellence, even if it means disappointing people in the short term? But here's the key. Instead of explaining this reality, many media outlets chose to spin the narrative. Instead of focusing on the truth, that the venue wasn't ready, they downplayed the statement, hid the context, and painted Kendrick as unreliable. Why? Because Kendrick has been too dominant. He doesn't play the industry games. He doesn't rely on features, manufactured beefs, or streaming bundles. He just wins on pure artistry. And in a world where mediocrity sells, that makes him dangerous. Think about what this means symbolically. Kendrick Lamar, the face of real hip-hop, pushes the culture forward with creativity and authenticity. Meanwhile, others rely on shortcuts and smoke and mirrors. The cancellation in Colombia wasn't a failure. It was proof of how far Kendrick is pushing the boundaries. He's attempting shows in markets where most artists wouldn't dare to go. He's bringing rap into places that rarely see this level of production, and while that comes with risks, it also shows his commitment to making rap a universal language. But make no mistake, the backlash is real. Behind the scenes, higher-ups are irritated. Kendrick's refusal to conform, his dominance without playing their games, and his constant elevation of the genre is rubbing people the wrong way. So when the opportunity arises to smear his image, whether it's ticket sales, flops, or canceled shows, they take it. At the end of the day, the Colombia cancellation wasn't Kendrick's fault. It wasn't about tickets. It wasn't about lack of demand. It was about a venue that couldn't handle greatness. And if anything, this proves why Kendrick Lamar is in a league of his own. He'd rather protect his vision than compromise for convenience. But here's the bigger takeaway. The industry will continue to look for ways to undermine him. They don't want the face of hip-hop to be a man who refuses to bow to their system. So as fans, we have a choice. Do we believe the false narratives? Or do we stand behind the greatest artist of our generation as he pushes rap forward into new territory? Because one thing is clear, Kendrick Lamar isn't slowing down. And if this is round 2 of his ongoing clash with Drake and the rest of the industry, then trust me, it's only going to get more interesting from here. Thanks for watching. Remember to like this video and subscribe to this channel. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next one. And as always, stay active.